Hello Antique and Garden Showcase friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a couple of things. This video didn't really turn out as planned. In fact, this week didn't really have a good plan to start out. It's just been kind of the same stuff. I was really waiting for my gardening things to come in, which have not arrived in the mail yet. I'm going to check and see where those are at. But today I'm going to actually go into Harbor Freight, and I'm going to look for an item that I keep in my Appraiser's toolkit at work, but I'm going to get one to take with me. I'll show you what that is in a minute. And then I'm going to talk about what it's like to sometimes give the disappointing news of an appraiser. So yeah, sometimes we give the really good news that you've got a super piece, and then sometimes we have to give the really bad news that what you thought was wonderful just isn't quite what you wanted it to be. So let's go take a look at some items in Harbor Freight. So the item I'm after is this UV leak detector, also known as a black light, and I need one of those to take with me when I go different places. So I did get the black light in there. I had to turn the camera off. The music was way too loud in there, and the black light will actually help when I'm out and about. It will search for uranium glass. It'll search for flaws that are in china, repairs, things like that. So a black light is a very useful tool to keep in your tool chest, or especially a small one like that you can take with you whenever you go into shops and things. So that's just one of those special tools to always keep around. You know, even if you're just going vintage shopping, it's good to have in your pocket when you go. So let's talk about the client who brought a piece to me the other day. He asked me a question about a vase that was marked Tiffany on the bottom, actually LC Tiffany. And of course that always piques interest because, you know, Louis Comfort Tiffany was known for some very high quality wares, and I was interested in seeing what the piece was that he had. The first thing that kind of threw up a red flag for me on this piece was the signature itself. And it comes from actually looking and holding and knowing pieces in the past. So when I looked at that signature, I'm like, something just is off. It doesn't look right. And I started doing some research and things on that online, and come to find out that Tiffany always signed counterclockwise. And the letters of his name, the top of the letters, were pointed towards the pontil, or the blower's mark, in the center of the piece. This piece was just the opposite. His signature was actually going clockwise on the outer rim, with the tops of the letters facing outward. And that was a huge tip that this was not a legitimate piece. And then there was more. The next thing about the piece that really tipped me off was the pontil itself, the blower's pontil. That's typically where they have the big tube that they blow into to blow this into a mold or to expand the piece. And Tiffany is not one of those companies that leaves things sloppy. They just don't. I mean, if you look at any piece that's out there, they're totally high end. It's all polished and beautiful. And this piece was not that. I mean, look at the center of this. I mean, it's completely sloppy, and I'm going, Tiffany Studios would never do anything that looked like that kind of work. So that was point number 2 that made me say, no, not a Tiffany vase. The third thing was just the piece itself. The piece, when I look at it, I just don't think Tiffany. When I look at that piece, I think, okay, maybe Durand, maybe some other art glass that does feather pull, Quasel, some of the others like that. Tiffany just doesn't come to mind when I see that design, and it doesn't have that lustrous finish that is typical Tiffany. So, you know, at a first glance, you just think, no, something's wrong. All right. Well, the interesting thing about this was I had made my decision, and I told him that I said, I'm sorry, but your piece is not legitimate. It's a knockoff of some kind. You know, there's not enough here for me to justify and say that this piece is true LC Tiffany. A true LC Tiffany signature, let's go back to signature a minute, will have the type of piece that it is. If it's Favril, Favrile, he will sign his name LC Tiffany-Favril, or LC Tiffany-number of the mold mark or design that you have. It's never just a signature freestanding like that. That's another strange thing, and I even found in a book that information to justify my decision on that. So yeah, that's kind of where I was at. And you know, you hate to tell somebody, you know, that this piece that they think is amazing is not, you know, it's just, it's heart-wrenching, but it happens. And has it happened to me in the past? Yes. Yes. Being a Nippon collector, I was duped one time by a piece of reproduction. And that's the thing that really gets me, are these places that are passing off these reproductions with the signatures and things like that, that know they're not legitimate, but they're just trying to cash in on name and whatever else. And it's sad, but they're out there. But there's people in the profession like me, you know, like people in the auction centers that are there to help you. And, you know, that's part of the job that I do. People will bring in these little art glass shoes, and these art glass shoes are you know, a lot of them are China knockoffs, but some of them are really good handcrafted American Fenton shoes. And it's just knowing the difference in the quality. And some have signatures, some do not have signatures on the bottom. You just have to know the quality. You have to know what that particular piece looks like. So yeah, that's a little bit about my appraiser's disappointment of the week. So now I'm still out and about today. I picked up my black light. We've talked a little bit about the appraiser's disappointment. I'm going to actually run in here to the Peddler's Mall. I'm in the parking lot. I'm looking for a 4-inch shade to go on a lamp, and I'm also looking for some prisms. I need 8 or 9, 10, just standard 3.5-inch prisms. I'm going to go in and see if I can luck into anything like that today. Well, I picked through the Peddler's Mall. No luck on lampshades and prisms that I was looking for, but I did end up with about 4 things in a cart that I hadn't anticipated getting, as you can see in the picture. Anyway, that's luck of the draw. I found a couple of nice Nippon pieces, plates, one cobalt blue for like $5, so going in the personal collection with those. Anyway, hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.